Hello, I'm Gordon. I'm a technical support specialist here with Vivant, and I'd like to go over our SmartCONNECT Firewall product with you and show you how easy it is to get it up and running. This is how you should have received it in the box already. And what we have here is the actual firewall. We have some antennas, we have some mounting screws and some mounting feet. The power supply is here, and the antenna positioning block is located here. I'm going to show you with the SmartCONNECT we have out on the table here already. It's a fairly simple device. As you can see, we have 4 LAN ports and 1 WAN port. There are some connections here you don't need to be concerned with. However, I'm going to go over this very simply with you and show you how to get it up and running with just a basic configuration, and then in a few moments I'll also show you a little more advanced connection if you have a switch or something like that. As you can see, we have color-coded cables here to keep it nice and simple, consistent across the board, so that if and when you do call in for support, we can direct you easily based upon the colors of the cables. The antennas are very easy to install. Just remove these covers that are on there. They're both the same, so it doesn't matter which one you use on which connection. The only thing I caution you here is just pay attention that there's one labeled main and one labeled DIV. There's also one here labeled GNSS, but we're not concerned with that one at this time. Just go ahead and connect the antennas. Just leave them pointing straight out and twist them on. Be careful not to over tighten them. Once they start getting tight, just finger tight, just barely, then rotate the antenna just a little bit more itself to where this notch is facing up. Do the same thing for the other antenna. Give me just a moment. Finger tight, not too tight at all, and then just rotate it again to where this notch is facing up. I'll show you how to orient the antennas with the positioning block in just a moment. The next step would be the power supply. As you can tell, the power supply has a definite way to connect it. There's a little tab here on top. You can just match it up to the power supply receptacle on the actual firewall. Just push gently, you'll feel a little snap, tug on it, make sure it doesn't pull out easily. If you do have to remove it, press down on the tab on the top and it should slide right out. Of course, the other end would go into an AC receptacle. Now, as far as the positioning block goes, this can be a little hard to do, but it's really very easy. The antenna that's closest to the right-hand edge of the firewall, just point that straight up. Leave this one pointed straight out. This arrangement will give you the best signal and the best functioning of the cellular network. So this is actually very important. If possible, let's make sure we put this positioning block on by sliding it down here until it meets the other one. And as you can see, that's all there is to it. The antennas are now properly positioned and you're ready to move on to the next step. I would say it's okay now to go ahead and plug this in and power it up. There's a power switch here. It's labeled 0, 1. Of course, 0 is off, 1 is on. All right, so the next step would be to locate your internet service provider modem. We have one here. This may or may not look like what you have, but this actually is a cable modem. As you can see, they'll either have 4 ports similar to what we have, or they may have only 1 port. The idea here is make note of what you have connected. You may only have 1 thing connected, you may be using all 4. The end goal at the end of the day is to have 1 connection coming from your internet service provider modem going to the firewall, and any other connections that you had here, we would move them over to the firewall. And I'm going to show you how easy that is actually. So again, let's just say you had 2 connections here already prior to installing what we would do is this yellow one would be moved. It's currently on port 1. Let's go ahead and move it over to port 1 on the cradle point. I'm sorry, the firewall. Now, the red connection, again, the end goal is that there's one connection going from your internet service provider modem to the firewall. Let's connect this red cable to port 1, and let's connect the other end of it to the connection labeled WAN, W-A-N. Okay, so that's the end goal there. One connection from the ISP modem to the firewall. Any other connections that were here, you can simply move them over here. Now, this will establish the basic connection from the ISP modem to the firewall. This will give the firewall the internet. Everything else will connect behind here in some fashion. In a moment, I'm going to talk about a switch, but for right now, let's just do the basic connections. We have, again, these are all color-coded. So we typically like it in this fashion. The red would be going to your internet service provider. The yellow is going to be on 1. The green is going to be on 2. And we'll talk about in just a moment exactly where all these cables might go. And then we like to use the purple for 3. And we like to use the blue for 4. And there you have it. All the connections are made now on the firewall. Now let's talk a little bit about where these connections might go on the other end. This connection here is pretty much your primary connection, the yellow one. This could serve to give internet to any number of different devices. If you have a phone system, VoIP phone system, you would use the green connection to go to your VoIP phone system. You would use if you have a Wi-Fi access point, separate, this unit has Wi-Fi built in, but if you're using separate Wi-Fi, we dedicate this purple connection for that. And the last one here, the blue, this would be going to the switch that I'm going to show you in a minute. So this is just the basic connections on how to get it up and running. You don't necessarily have to have made all these connections, but I am showing you the standard setup that we use here at Vivant. So again, if you have a fairly simple setup, let's say you only have a few devices, you have a phone, your phone would be on the green connection, your other devices or other device would be on the yellow connection. You wouldn't even use the purple or the blue. Now, if you have multiple devices you want to connect, you probably already have, or you're probably getting a switch. Just think of a switch like a hub. It's not a hub, but think of it that way, where you just splitting it out so you can have multiple connections. Obviously, this is one connection here, and that's not enough. You have multiple connections you need to make. So what you can do is you can plug this blue cable into your switch, and now you have 7 ports here available to use for whatever you want to connect. So again, this may look complicated, but it really is fairly simple. We have it color coded so that you can keep things straight, and then when you're talking with us here at support, we can help you troubleshoot just by directing you to certain color cables. And just a quick overview of what we talked about today. Basically, all you have to do is get the antennas on the unit, apply the positioning block, you attach the power, plug it in, turn it on, locate your ISP modem. The end goal is one connection, a red cable, port 1, and again, if you only have one port, that's fine, but preferably port 1, red cable, going straight to the WAN connection, the blue connection on the firewall. And here, this is basically dependent upon your particular setup, but each one of these will provide internet. If all you need is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, then you have all you need right here. You don't necessarily have to have a switch. But once you're getting past more than 4 connections, then you will have to add a switch. We prefer it to be on the blue cable, and you can add more connections that way. And that's it. The lights will indicate, of course, we have the power light, and we also have a light here indicating the signal strength would be here, how strong your cellular signal is. This is your backup. So again, the SmartCONNECT Firewall is designed to provide you backup internet. And the cellular side of this will always be active and on standby for whenever the primary fails. You'll be able to see that cellular signal here, 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. You'll be able to see the actual status of that here. It'll either be a solid yellow or a solid green light. If it's flashing, please contact us at support and we'll help you diagnose what the issue is. But there's a screw on this door, keeps this intact. There's no need to open this or do anything here. It should have been shipped to you ready to go. And that's it. That's a quick overview and do-it-yourself instructional guide for the SmartCONNECT Firewall. Thank you.